Hello everyone and welcome back guys to round 13 even of Season 2 of the F1 2018 Williams Road to Glory Career Mode, where today we're here at my favourite track on the Formula 1 calendar. It's time for the Belgian Grand Prix. Really looking forward to this one, hoping we can get quite a good little race out of today. Something that I forgot to mention in last time's episode, I did actually get one more aero upgrade on the car. In terms of upgrades, I'm getting quite a few questions from you guys at the moment about why don't I upgrade this, that or the other. That is probably going to be the last upgrade I do between now and when we finally get the announcement about what the the Season 3 aero regs are going to be. So that is sort of like my plan at the moment there. But in terms of free practice, then usually I sort of just cut away from it. But it wasn't as simple as a story this time. As you can see, just going past Ericsson there as we come in through Rouge of Radio, and they're getting a huge moment on the way out, and well, completely wallop in the wall at about 100 miles an hour in reverse there, man. It's very rare you actually rip the rear wheel off the car there. But yeah, that certainly wasn't the way we wanted free practice to go for the Belgian Grand Prix, but felt I had to include that in the footage there, hence why we weren't able to pick up as many R&D points as we would have liked there. But yeah, as I said, we're sort of going to wait now, save up a few R&D points ready for the rule changes, because, for example, if it's like the engine or the chassis, then we're going to be alright. If it's the aerodynamics, then we're a wee bit screwed with 18 upgrades on the car. So that was sort of my thought process in terms of that. Moving into qualifying then, Q1 and Q2 were sort of fairly plain stories. But I'm going to leave you on board with my Q3 lap. Very rare I do this, but Spa's just such a brilliant track. I thought I'd leave you guys on board with a maximum attack lap in the Williams. Over the line, and as you can see, we set a 1 minute 41.5, which I will certainly take. They're currently in P4 at this late stage of the session, but usually the AI do go a little bit quicker between now and the end of the session there. But hopefully, you guys enjoyed that lap. It was fairly on the limit. I would like to think, only about half second off my PB in time trial in the Mercedes, where you get unlimited ERS and everything like that. But we would hold on full P4 then for the Belgian Grand Prix. One of my best qualifying positions ever, I think, in this career mode. I think we qualified P3 in Germany, so hopefully, this could be a sign of good things to come there. But yeah, ready then for the Belgian Grand Prix in the race here. Really looking forward to this one. Hoping we can try and pick up some very good points in today's race. Here we are then, ready for the Belgian Grand Prix, and hoping that obviously, as I said, we can get off to quite a good, clean, consistent race today around this Spa-Francorchamps circuit. It's such a brilliant track in Formula 1, and obviously one that I was at just a few weeks back now. I think it was 3 weeks ago now by the time this video goes out. It doesn't seem that long ago. But in terms of last season's race, it would actually be Sebastian Vettel that'd be able to take home the win, 67 thousandths ahead of Valtteri Bottas in P2. Verstappen will get a very good in what is effectively, well, as close to possible his home Grand Prix up in P3. With Hamilton 4th and Kimi Raikkonen 5th. We would come through just missing out on points down in P11, but what a phenomenal race it was for us. You know, probably one of the best races I think I've ever had with the AI. Had a fantastic battle with my teammate Lance Stroll right towards the very end of that Grand Prix there. But yeah, I think in terms of today's race, though, points are definitely, well, hopefully a probability in terms of this Grand Prix starting all the way up in P3 overall. Kimi Raikkonen, though, has a 50-point lead in the Drivers' Championship as we head into the second half of this season here. You know, getting ready to leave Europe and then obviously head for the flyaway season towards the end of the year. It's really, really looking like he could try and win his second Formula 1 World Championship here. But in terms then of the grid, it'd be Lewis Hamilton ahead of Sebastian Vettel there, with myself in P3 ahead of Kimi Raikkonen. Verstappen and Daniel Ricciardo there round out the third row. Ocon, Hülkenberg, Charles Leclerc and Carlos Sainz would round out the top 10 with Perez and Bottas with a penalty there. Lance Stroll in P13 with Fernando Alonso 14th. Ericsson 15th. Van Dorn even in 16th. Gasly, Hartley and then the two Haas round out the grid, ready for the Belgian Grand Prix.
Okay, remember to brake early for turn 1 as the pack's going to bunch up. There's plenty of runoff if things get too close.
So there we are then. Jeff just telling me that we do need to be careful going in towards T1 here. We're going to run a little bit of spare fuel. Obviously, so many opportunities to overtake around this Belgian Grand Prix circuit. We just want to have as much to attack and as well as much to defend as we possibly can in this race. In terms of the strategy, I did really consider going for the one-stop here. You know, super softs onto mediums. It'll certainly be very tough. But, you know, we'll see what happens. We might be able to make it work on the whole. But, you know, only time will tell. Ready then on the grid. Ready for the Belgian Grand Prix. It is 5 lights and it's lights out and away we go. Actually off to a fairly poor start there. Kimi Raikkonen is going to be able to have a look to my outside. Both Ferraris actually getting off to a very good start here as we come now down in through T1. We do keep it on the apex there and do defend our P3 off the start there. Hamilton and Vettel goes side by side down in towards our Rouge there. Hamilton does actually bail out there as they now come up through. Radion running a little bit wide through there for the first time. Obviously very heavy fuel, difficult to try and make it work there. But you can just see the overdrive we've got on both Seb and Lewis here. Are we going to be able to have a look to the inside? We think about going for it there, but back out just like it was Ocon did in the real life Grand Prix. Just didn't really want to try and take the gamble that early on in the race there. And Seb will stay in the lead of the Grand Prix. They'll run a little bit wide out onto the gravel. That's going to give Kimi Raikkonen the opportunity down the inside in through the hairpin corner here. And I think he is just going to be able to make that work, try to swing it right the way around his outside of it. Not able to make that work. And we will now, unfortunately, drop down into P4 of the Grand Prix there. But I will certainly take that off the start. You know, the Ferraris and the Mercedes is going to be really difficult to try and keep up with in this Grand Prix. I think it was more like the Red Bulls that we were going to be close to in terms of pace in today's race here as we come through the next couple of corners here. On to lap 2 of the race, and we were still fairly close to the rear of Raikkonen there. Hamilton actually on a set of soft tyres here was really struggling to obviously maintain the pace here, but it should be a very easy one-stop for him in the Grand Prix. Raikkonen, though, is going to try and look up the inside of Lewis here. We're going to be all very close as we come up to the top of the hill there. Lewis almost goes for a Sergio Perez swipe at the top of the hill there as we come now down through the next couple of corners here. We're going to try and maximise the traction. They just have to avoid Kimi Raikkonen at the very last moment there, and unfortunately that's going to mean both Red Bulls are going to be able to slot past me there. But it was just a very sort of weird little mistake there with the dirty air, sort of just completely took away all the rear end grip there, which means unfortunately we now drop down to P6 here. But it wouldn't be too long where we were all over the back of Danny Rick once more here. To the outside, down the back straight here, we are going to be able to make that move. Work almost right into the back of Max Verstappen there. That was very close. We almost had lost a part of our front wing there, but we will now move back up into P5 of this Grand Prix here. It's certainly a lot of action going on over the first 2 laps. On to the end though of lap 5, and unfortunately this set of super soft tyres here were really starting to fade away here. You can see just through the final chicane here how much we were really struggling to try and keep the car pointing in the right direction. But we will now dive it in to the pit lane here for hopefully my one and only stop of this Grand Prix here. We're going to drop all the way down the order here. Actually one of the earliest drivers to make our pit stop here, which really wasn't boding too well in terms of this Grand Prix here. But hopefully, you know, we will still be able to get off. You know, it shouldn't affect us too much in this race. Releasing the pit lane speed limit, they're getting a huge amount of wheel spin on the exit there. We will come back out up in P16 here. And now over these next few laps, we really do need to try and get back through the AI as quickly as possible here. 1 lap later, all over the back of K-Mag as we come through these next couple of corners here up towards the back straight in towards Blanchemont. Are we going to be able to get a good run on the Haas driver here on the exit of the corner? Are we going to be able to get it? We're almost pushing. Yes, we do. Use the hot lap and then drop it back down into overtake ERS mode. We will be cleanly past the Haas car there before we're even up towards Blanchemont. So we'll certainly take that for a bit of a slingshot move there. The Haas is going to still be very, very close as we come up in towards the bus stop, but is not able to make it work there as we now come down. Breaking through nice and tidily here. A couple more drivers will be making their first pit stop of the race, so hoping we can still move our way slowly but surely up the order here. Trailing our teammate by 6.9 seconds here, but obviously we still are, well, he's still yet to make his first pit stop of the Grand Prix, and then on to lap 8 here, all, well, closing up slowly but surely to the back of Daniel Ricciardo, but then there's a huge Constantina effect at the top of the hill here. Verstappen, Van Dorn, I think that's Grosjean as well, all sort of slowing each other down here. It's a 6-car fight at this stage of the race here, all over the back of Danny Rick. We're going to have a look to the outside of the Red Bull driver there, sort of get to the outside of Sergio Perez. Don't give Danny Rick the chance to get back up the inside there, and we do move now up into P13 of the Grand Prix. A very, very weird move, but I will certainly take that now. And on to lap 9, we're all over the back of Pierre Gasly here, going to try and have a look at the top of Radion and Rouge here. Are we going to be able to make the move work? We're going to use the overtake ERS mode once more. Look at the overdrive. They get on the pair of them. They're going to be able to move now up into P11 of the Grand Prix there. And that was certainly quite a crazy little moment there. Just the amount of speed this Williams can maintain down the back straight here. Absolutely phenomenal there. Now, all over the back of Romain Grosjean here and Max Verstappen up the inside of Grosjean in towards Blanchemont there. We do make that work. Now to the outside of Verstappen here as we come up in towards the final chicane there. A little bit of contact made between the pairs there. Lance Stroll now dives in to the pit lane there, but we do swing it right around the outside. It moves to the inside through the final chicane there, and now we're back up into the points of this Belgian Grand Prix here. We're going to be all the way back up, and I think P7 of this race, Sergio Perez, is just going to be able to stay out ahead of me here as we come out of turn 1 there. And now we need to really, really slowly but surely try and close up to the Force India driver there onto the end, well, sorry, the start even of lap 13, and just look at the overdrive once again we've got on the Force India. 220 miles an hour there as we come up to the top of the hill around the outside there. What a weird little move that we've been able to make work there. Sergio Perez actually gives me a little bit of a punt on the way out of the corner there, but yeah, sort of a very, very weird move where we sort of just found ourselves on the outside, and where the AI sort of take a very, very weird line through that corner. We do now move up into the podium places of this Grand Prix, but unfortunately the one stop that I spoke about throughout the entirety of this race just was not going to be able to work. You know, unfortunately by lap 17 you can see the tyres already up to 50% wear there, and I did not want a repeat of the first half of the Grand Prix. We were going to lose out so much time in the latter stages of this race, so we are going to dive it in for my second pit stop of the day. Going to go onto a slightly rubbered in set of these super soft tyres here, which hopefully should really, really help me out there. Dig the wall actually on the way into the pit lane. Lucky that we didn't actually pick up any front wing damage from that, but it's going to be a sort of a last 5-lap dash comeback drive in this Belgian Grand Prix here. As I said, certainly not difficult to overtake around here. We've got such a fast aero package as well in this car, so hoping, you know, we can still try to capitalise here. I'd like to, you know, get back up to around Esteban Ocon sort of area in this Grand Prix. We will still be just ahead of my teammate Lance Stroll here, but good to see that he's actually in the points at this stage of the Grand Prix here. So we got Fernando Alonso will be the first man on our hit list here, but we will now be so much quicker than the AI here as we now move on to the end of lap 18 here, all over the back of the McLaren Renault drive here as we use all the engine modes that we possibly can to the inside of Fernando Alonso. They have to bail out the throttle there, back onto the throttle, up the inside of Verstappen there, and that's a double overtake going into Blanchemont there. I will certainly take that at this stage of the Grand Prix. Next up on the old hit list will be Esteban Ocon as we come on to lap 19 of this Grand Prix, coming through the final few corners of this lap here. Just over 2 laps to go of the Belgian Grand Prix here. Are we going to be able to move past the Force India driver? They use the ERS modes once again as we come out of Stabilo here. Are we going to be able to make it work? Obviously a Mercedes engine in the back of that Force India car, but we do get to the inside in towards Blanchemont here, and we will be able to move up now into P6 of this Grand Prix here. Very, very happy with that. So we're back up to where we expected to be after that second pit stop of the day there. And now we're slowly but surely closing up to the back of Carlos Sainz as we move into this final lap of the Grand Prix here. Are we going to be able to make this work? We're still 6 tenths back as we come into the final lap of this Grand Prix here. Lance Stroll only 8.9 seconds behind me at this late stage of the Grand Prix, but obviously we have made twice as many pit stops as him. But using the ERS modes once again here, we're not going to put it up into rich revs just yet. They're losing the back end ever so slightly through a ruse there. Now we use the rich ERS modes, the rich fuel mix as well. The DRS overtake mode, rich revs as well. Carlos Sainz gonna have absolutely nothing to try and defend from me in that position there. And now we move back up into P5 of the Grand Prix here on the final lap of the Grand Prix here. Last dash attempts to try and make up moves. The yellow flags are now out, and it would unfortunately be Carlos Sainz that would face an engine failure as well right in the dying stages of this Grand Prix. Very, very unfortunate for the Renault driver there. Just absolute heartbreak, I'm sure, for him. But coming through the final couple of corners then, Kimi Raikkonen, championship leader, would go and further extend his championship lead there. The King of Spa once again reigns supreme. Through the final couple of corners though, it is going to be P5 in the Belgian Grand Prix. 10 points on the board. I will certainly take that.
Nice work, you did well today. I think the boss will be happy with that one.
Great effort there from Ferrari to take the victory today. Anthony, what do you think made the difference here?
I think a large part of the result comes down to temperament. They were able to keep their heads when everyone around them was losing theirs, and that's allowed them to get the best out of the car, to maximise the strategy, and to stay out of trouble.
So, here they come now, out onto the podium. Wherever you go, anywhere in the world, the prancing horse flags are dominant in the grandstands, and they're out in force again today. It's Ferrari on the top step once more.
So there we are then, the end of the Belgian Grand Prix, and it would actually be Kimi Raikkonen, as I said, once again, who would reign supreme in the Belgian Grand Prix. That ahead of Lewis Hamilton, just 4/10 of a second separate the pair from there. Sergio Perez would do a fantastic job to come through for a podiums, starting all the way down in P11 in that Grand Prix. So 3 different teams on the podium there. Danny Rick would do well in P4, and we would actually be the fastest of the 2 stoppers there, with Ocon 6th, Valtteri Bottas up in P7 there with Lance Stroll, meaning that we do get once again another double points haul in the Belgian Grand Prix here. Fernando Alonso 9th, and Max Verstappen down in P10. Sebastian Vettel on a 3-stop strategy there. Very, very unfortunate race for himself. Would lose out on 25 points to his teammate there. Hulkenberg in P12, Marcus Ericsson 13th, Charles Leclerc 14th, Grosjean, Pierre Gasly, Van Dorn, Hartley, and K-Mag round out the order there, and Carlos Sainz with that last lap retirement there. I don't think it's actually possible for all 20 drivers to finish in a career mode race because, well, really, I'm surprised that he retired so late on. Raikkonen, though, a 75-point lead, a 3-race victory now ahead of Sebastian Vettel here. It's now only a matter of time at this stage of the season that he's going to be able to wrap it up there. In terms of changes, though, Sergio Perez would jump me, but then Max Verstappen we'd also jump as well, which means we stay up in P7 there. Ocon would jump K-Mag, Van Dorn, Stroll, and Carlos Sainz, but Lance Stroll would jump Sainz as well there to level out in the positions as well there. In terms of the constructors, no real changes in that as well there either. I think, well, we saw Mercedes jump Red Bull and Force India jump us once more there. But hopefully, you guys have enjoyed the Belgian Grand Prix. Obviously, Italy hopefully coming out tomorrow, and if Belgium's anything to go by, we should have a really strong car around the Italian Grand Prix circuit. Make sure you do like and subscribe as well to the channel. We're less than 250 away now from 10k. It is really starting to get close. But thank you all so much for watching, and hopefully I'll see you guys next time at the Italian Grand Prix.